See, I will ask you this question. I've thought about this a lot in the last week. Do you think that the real estate industry has an obsession with keeping costs low because there is such low cash flow within the portfolios?
Yes.
I love how quickly you responded to that.
Yeah. No, it's madness, right? Because like
it's like avoiding land tax over getting a good asset. It's like if this is a great asset, even if you have to pay some land tax, it is probably unlikely the greater move long term or even in the short term. But it's like, whoa, land tax. Whoa,
yeah, it's like the classic thinking paradigm. Like, hey, is $1 million debt expensive or not? Well, it depends. If that $1 million debt is making $1 million profit on top, then hey, give me $1 million debt versus $1 million debt where I'm not making any income. Oh my God, hang me. You know, like it. And this is the way to think about it. So then once we start to shift our paradigm to like, oh, hang on a second. Okay, so the key is I just actually need to have a more profitable property portfolio. So I just need to increase my net margins. Is that what you're saying? Yes, it's exactly what I'm freaking saying, right? Because if you can increase your net margins, all of the hurdles that everybody else faces in their property portfolio, they start to disappear. They start to just completely disappear. Like if, for example, you had a business which was making tons of profit, and then all of a sudden the government put in a new levy and said, oh, hey, that business is now going to cost an extra $10,000 to run, and all of the other businesses that were in that space couldn't afford the additional $10,000 and they all collapsed, but you were making $100,000 of profit and you could just climb over the hurdle and keep going, then you're going to be able to mop up all the success. So you start to expand your potential massively when you shift from how do I minimize expenses and shift that towards how do I maximize profit. Okay. And then that starts to change the game around portfolio mix, asset types, net return ratios, return on capital percentages. All of these kind of things start to really transform the way that you think about how to structure an effective portfolio for maximum success and maximum continuity. It's pretty easy. The reason most people get stuck is because they don't create enough profitability in their portfolio. That's super simple, right? The reason that people reach their serviceability caps is because they don't create enough profitability in their portfolio. The reason people never achieve, what they want to achieve in property, the reason they get stuck, the reason they don't get past 5 properties or 2 properties or anything like that is because they don't have enough profitability in their portfolio. So if you expand on that idea, and because some people might be going, oh, well, what's profitable? Is it $10,000 a year? Maybe. Sure. But if you expanded on that idea and said, well, I've got $1 million of equity in my real estate portfolio, but it's producing, let's just say $500,000 of net cash flow. Well, what's that then going to do? What does that entity look like? So if you had a business separately, just forget about it being real estate. If you had a business that was producing $500,000 of net profit and had equity on the balance sheet of $1 million, do you think that you would be able to use that asset, that business, to go and borrow money, to go and buy more assets, maybe buy another office, things like that? Yeah, of course you would, because standalone, that business is going to be a profitable, valuable entity. So the more you can think about how do I create a profitable and successful real estate business, the further you're going to be able to go.
I will say, I think a lot of the advice to go deeper than this is like, one, there is clearly an obsession with keeping costs low because yields are weak or their profitability of their business is weak, which is just along the lines of, okay, don't hire anyone. Let's make sure we use all the cheapest tools possible in my business to make sure that we get far and keep profit high, which I just think is a bad attitude in general.
Yeah.
But then second to that is that when you talk to these advisors or anyone else, most of them are only operating from the paradigm, well, person might get to 3. 3 properties is maybe their ambition or goal. So a lot of this stuff just doesn't become relevant in that conversation. So they become conditioned to think this is the way. They really do. It's not structured around people who want to go, let's say 5 plus properties or a bigger substantial way. And I love the entity thinking. And it's like, if you are approaching your portfolio from like, how do I make this a profitable business? The thinking swaps completely. The ideas swap completely.